What's up, yo? How you guys doing today? I want y'all to do what? Subscribe to the channel because that'll be nice if you do. And then share, or you could like see if you like the information and then you could subscribe. Yeah, that'd be dope because then I'm for sure gonna get that subscription and I might get a comment and you might hit that bell for me. But anyway, in this video, we're gonna talk about what the difference between a haircut and a trim is, okay? I got me a special assistant here today. She's always special, but today she's gonna help assist out. She's gonna be asking me some questions about that topic. All right, so let me tell y'all. I'm gonna start with what a trim is, the definition of trim. All right, let me slide over because I'm going to put it over here on the screen. You see what I mean? Y'all going to be able to see it. All right. The definition of a trim by Google says, a trim is when you take off enough hair to get the hair to a healthy state. Okay. Maybe I didn't say it exactly like the definition, but that's what a trim is. Okay. A trim is when you're taking off just enough hair to get it to a healthy state. It is not, that is what a trim is. There is no other definition of trim. When you're trimming the hair in a way that you're taking off just enough to get the hair to a healthy state, you're doing a trim. If you're taking off 2 to 3 inches, if you're even in a blunt cut, then you're doing a haircut. Hair cutting, I didn't even look up the definition. When you're doing a haircut, you are styling the hair. You are cutting it in a way that the hair falls in a different style. You can do like a 90-degree cut. You can do a blunt cut. You can do a wedge bob. You can do a stack bob. You could do a pixie cut. All of those different cuts are haircuts. Okay? That is what a haircut is and a hair trim is. So it is, if you're going to someone and they are saying the difference, they don't understand, or maybe they can't articulate to you the difference between a haircut and a hair trim, you might want to think twice about getting your hair styled or cut with them, because it should not be a price. The pricing is not the difference between a trim and a haircut. It's not the price. It's not how much hair you take off. If this person has very unhealthy hair and you have to trim 3 inches, it shouldn't be considered a haircut because you took 3 inches off. I don't understand it. If they need a trim, they need a trim. The trim is, by definition, taking off enough hair to get the hair to a healthy state, and a haircut is cutting it in a style. So I told you I have a guest. Do you have any questions? Did I have to explain that okay?
Yes, you explained it well. I do have a question.
Oh, she got a question. Go ahead. What's your question?
So the question is, typically, let's say, for example, a person never had a trim before. Mm-hmm. How much hair would you recommend is cut for their first trim?
Right. So if somebody, what she asked, I don't know if y'all can hear. So she asked me, if this is somebody's first trim, how much would I recommend trimming off for their first trim? And so regardless if you're first or your second or your third trim, whatever, you need to just trim off what's necessary. There are some people that, like certain ethnicities, like cultures, like Chinese people, Vietnamese, Asian, period, they grow the thickest, blackest, beautiful strands of hair. They go like lots of time without cutting their hair, and it's not like split ends just pop in there. You know what I mean? So you don't have to, just because it's your first trim, if your hair is grown and it's growing beautiful, you look at what needs to be trimmed and you take that under consideration. You don't go in and take off more just because they've never had a trim before.
Is this why you think people get confused with, like you said, a haircut versus a trim?
I don't know why they get confused. Because it's something that we learned in cosmetology school. You know, we learned in cosmetology school. I think that maybe that's where it started. Maybe there's a lack of education in there and a lack of knowledge that's not being provided to the stylists that are giving these services, because I've heard different rumors, like not being able to color hair, not the ability of Black folks not being able to color hair, period. Like, it's just that's what I hear. Or I don't know whether I don't know what it is. I don't know whether, how about, let me bring y'all in. Is that something that am I just, is maybe my clientele only speaks that way and it's because of their exposure to the people? Because these are comments that I've been hearing. Is that common? Do we feel as a culture that we're more comfortable going to white people to get our hair cut and colored because of the lack of experience in our ethnicity. Because if that's the case, I feel like that's why I'm here. There's an influx, there's a necessity of a learning curve. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I believe that that's to be a true fact. Because for one, when I went to cosmetology school, I was on the floor. I was doing hair. And I wasn't doing white folks' hair. I wasn't doing haircuts. I was doing braids. I was doing relaxers. And guess what? I was doing that stuff because I already knew how to do it. And the hair salon business is a valuable business when you got, as soon as I came in there, they were like, oh, you know how to braid? Or you know how to do hair like that? I've spent 2 weeks in the back learning. From that, for the rest of my 1,400 hours, I was on the floor doing hair. I learned my hair cutting skills, my coloring skills outside of my cosmetology school. When I worked at Famous Hair, they required you at the time before they got taken over by Regis, because they got taken over by Regis. Their Famous Hair isn't owned by Famous Hair anymore. But however, I don't know even know if they still do this. What they used to do is when you got hired, you had to take a hair cutting class, and you had to cut the hair the way they taught you to cut the hair, and it was a good course. Taught you everything. I used to love doing wedge cuts, because at first, when I first started cutting hair, a wedge cut is a difficult thing. There's all kind of angles. They talking about a reverse 45 and hold your fingers out. Don't cut past your knuckle. Come up to this point and then do a 90. You need to hold this up here and do a 90, but then you need to pull it out to a 180 on it. I'm like, what are they talking about? You know what I mean? So there's all this education that I got from learning in that haircut realm. And then I learned my coloring skills. I worked at Regis. I worked at Ulta, and they had haircutting class. I got classes in freaking Redken, and just different things. Lots of education that I would not have gotten if I didn't get in school. So I can imagine that is a thing, but I don't hear nobody saying it. So. All right, guys. Yes, we just talked about it. I'm telling you, the difference between a haircut and a trim are very, very simple. It's not how much you're trimming off. It's not if it's your first time or your last time. It is the difference between styling and taking off the least amount of hair in order to get the hair in a healthy state. That is my verdict. I'm sticking to it. Y'all agree? Hit that comment button. If you don't agree, hit that comment button. And if you indifferent, hit that comment button. That don't make sense, do it? Because there's no comment button. You would have to leave a comment. Leave a comment, subscribe to this channel, and tolerate sometimes I'm smart in some stuff, whatever. I'll talk to y'all in the next video where we talk about, what are we talking about? We about to talk about the difference between a silk press and flat ironing, hair straightening. What do we call that? All right. See y'all in the next video. Bye.